You know, I got
nature of the
Wildcard,
game.
Bing Boom, and Fume, but I got players in all three of those, and they're in 12th, 13th, and 14th place.
That
so.
shift does not surprise me. I mean, this is kind of what we thought, right? And this is essentially what we owe. But Shoei gets picked off by Luke on the rotation.
I mean, Kurt once again putting in that work, but you can see he's getting a little bit of pressure from Los H. He's going to pull back behind. Los got the helmet, though, so he's got to be a little bit careful. As you can see, Luke 12 keeping that peek out, making sure to get that flush onto Waldo. We got him very low, but wasn't able to secure it. So wait for the bleed out. Valiate actually gets hit from afar, and that's going to help out Luminosity in this, as Rumblers are going to have to break away from this.
And Rumblers just, again, it's like one series of unfortunate events after another. I mean, this rotation, you'd imagine, was contested, but Los goes down now as well, and it's just down to Valiant.
Oof. I mean, this is what we've been wanting to see from LG. This is some of the things we've missed from them.
LG's playing
the
amazing
ability
right
to really play and dictate the positioning that they have, that they want, and win those fights out. I mean, this is huge for them. As you can see, there you go, Penta getting credit for that. And talking about getting credit, Kill Demo with Zealot right now as trades coming out between 4 p.m. Troglodytes, the drive-by featuring TM as well. Everybody trying to get as center as possible into Monte, and it is true chaos in town.
Yeah, and Monty is... Monty can actually be somewhat of a fun city to fight in. The only issue is because of how many, like, 2 stories and some of the stacks they have, it can also be kind of frustrating. It's a wonderful place to play if you like shotguns. Let me tell you, there are some buildings in there that would love you to have a shotgun with you. But Keenan now looking for Wadez, and that vehicle explosion actually is going to get it.
Sharpshot actually got that vehicle just as Wadez knocked down to Sharpshot. It was going to be the vehicle explosion that got the knock. I mean, the rotation happened so slow and casual, it even took me a second to realize that that was not a teammate Wadez was driving right next to. Back inside the town, though, you can see Tiggleton took quite a bit of damage. He's able to pop out that first aid kit, but now Peak pushing in, finds a compound for them. As Tiggleton tries to get back to the rest of his team safe, he could be able to pick off potentially Nukas here. Spots Adam.
As the circle shifts now, we will see ultimately where we're pretty much going to be ending up. And that, again, is just... Synergy is so happy right now. Silzen is in a good spot. The problem is he's very alone.
Yeah,
he's very isolated. At this point, I don't even know if it's worth it to keep one there. You might want to just come down and... Yeah, I hope he just gets out and reconcile. Yes.
Yeah,
okay.
there you go. You can see he gets
he's
in the vehicle. And perfect timing, because look at this. LG rotating right now into that spot. So you want to make sure you get to the rest of your teammates before you get caught out. It looks like they are going to take Landeria. And Penta coming in a little bit late, so he's got to be careful not to get pinched out by Troglodytes, Fium, but even Bing Bang Boom. And so we can watch them all coming off the high ground. But
you are right, it's not in the circle, but it is a good point to fight for, as you were saying, because of the hill in front of it. So as long as they can clear this out and just hold that position, they actually have a good line in towards the center of the circle on foot.
Yeah, and you're talking about on foot? LG, Luminosity pushing down for their position. They left Luke 12 behind to anchor that spot, and they're looking to see if they can clear this one out. We're going to listen into Fiumba, though, see what they're having to say right now.
Better do it quick before they're gone.
Yeah, before they're gone. Oh, I say that, they're dead.
And they're gone, so...
Sorry, guys, we're not going to have Fiumba comms this time around, but I mean, look at this. LG...
That listening would have been nothing but cursing.
It would have been a lot of screaming, but that's okay, because it would have been in English, right? So...
True. I mean...
I say chat would know exactly what was being said.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. Peak have been playing this edge, and it's really been giving them some opportunities for kills. They've only been able to capitalize on 2 of them thus far. But they've still found themselves in zone. The circle is going to hard shift away from them.
Synergy is so happy right now. They are just elated with joy.
Oh. You know what? Maybe eUnited. Whatever happens with this LGTX dodge, there's a big factor that we could see them actually wrap around to the eastern side. So if eUnited prepare for that, that could be a big day for them to play from.
Yeah, I mean, eUnited as well, I like their position overall. They have Relo sitting underneath that Rumblers compound that SG is currently in, and yeah, Flood just sitting in that long house as well with 2 watching over. It's really solid, but look at this, Peak starting to find those fights.
And there we go. We're going to go into Peak's comms, listen to them as they take the fights to Wildcard and Sonics.
Eu matei.
Vem comigo.
Vai,
Vem.
prefiro, tô curando.
Posta no outro.
Tem um em cima aí, Arma, tem um em cima dessa casa. Tem ninguém não.
Tem que smocar a rua, velho. Smoca a rua.
Eu não tenho smoke,
Ah,
tá?
nós tem que rushar e matar o cara, velho. Vai morrer tudo pro gás, velho.
Bora.
Rush e mata.
Tem muito no outro lado.
Fica um de vida, um de vida.
Ok, lá na frente do Adam.
Mano, mata daqui de dentro, ele tá com um de HP.
Eu noquei o Adam lá da frente, eu sei, eu tomei fogo.
Morreu. Vem pra Sonic pro outro lado da rua.
Eu vou ganhar aqui, certeza do Adam, pelo menos aí.
Morri, spa. Ai,
Mano, tinha que ter rushado comigo dentro.
Ah, roubaram minha kill
velho.
de novo, velho.
eu tinha uma molotov na porta.
Eu peguei fogo, Arno.
I feel you, selfish. That was a Hail Mary, I guess, first date if I ever saw one. But I mean, they were really in a really unfortunate spot. They're coming out of Monte, but you see the work that Peak put in to try to make something out of that. And talking about the work that's continued to be put in, Luminosity getting that knockout to Bing Bang Boom. Sonics though, this re-rotation onto 22. This fight's been happening. Tiggleton gets taken down, so does Shrimzy. It's all in the hands of Mime, who just makes sure to flush that point out onto Gizabata. He's been spotted by Waikikamukow. Shots at every direction right now as they try to clean it out. Sonic's eliminated.
That flush was correct. Mime knew he was pretty much dead, so he just went and got his point. I'm kind of frustrated he did it on one of the players on my roster, but you know, that's neither here nor there. That was definitely the correct play for Mime to make. He was pretty much just kind of boned there. Kikamukow as well now, just trying to survive just on the north side of this, but between Vinny and the other member of 22 and just the sheer dominant position that Synergy has, I'm not sure he survives. And no, there's no chance. He's donezo.
You're gonna talk about like picks versus picks. I have Keenan and Waikikamukow. Now it goes down to the zone, but I also kind of would have like Keenan to get a point out of that too. So there we go. Bing Bang Boom. You know what? They were struggling. They were at the bottom of the leaderboard for the first few games today. Military games did them absolutely no favors. Right now they're sitting on 11 points, 3 kills so far this game. But with 4 PMTX, Wildcard Peak all out, this could be a good opportunity for them to make some moves on the leaderboard. But LG, I mean, the story of this team looking so good right now with 6 teams and 19 players alive. All 4 members of Luminosity still standing. 7 kills so far to their name. They've had the circle up until this point. They do have a good just lane. I mean, straight into the zone ahead of them.
They do. They do have a good line straight into the zone, and they do have a decent amount of hills, and that's essentially the line they would take is where that kind of blind spot is for the compound that SG is in. There's one kind of spot that kind of lets teams get closer than you would want them to, and that line is the one that LG want to take. The problem for LG is Dodge is kind of looking over this as well, so they could absolutely do some damage. Never mind, Penta is going to find a beautiful knock and open that lane up for them.
Yeah, that Mini 14 putting in work, and I mean, the Mini's all out. You can see Flood's got a Mini on the roof, Corsac's got a Mini out. Everybody right now embracing the Mini meta as they continue to put that work forward. eUnited have been moderately quiet on the eastern side, just easing their way into the late game. 3 kills to the name, but again, all 4 players up and standing. They want to make sure they walk this one in and can focus all the attention ahead of them as Kickstart confidently, along with Flood, can now close that door behind them. Now as phase 6 comes to a close, minute and a half to the name. Necro spotting out Vinny. Is going to get that knock, but actually gets taken up by Snakers.
He got punished by Snakers from distance.
Oh.
And that is not ideal for Trog, as they were already down to a 3-man.
You can see Kickstart and Flood have already started to investigate to see what is free. The easy grab real quick is the garage, which looks to be that call out. But again, they've been very cautious of this positioning from Dodge. They've taken shots time and time again onto Corsac, that pressure that Flood had when he stayed behind and anchored in the long compound just to make sure that Dodge didn't wrap behind them. And now, as the circle closes in, I mean,
well, that's what they're waiting for as well.
This is the push, right?
Yeah, they want to see what the circle's going to do before they commit to anything at all. And so right now, they actually don't need to. They can just hold this ridge line, and even if they don't take that garage, which I don't think they need to now, they can just hold the edge of that ridge line. They know their back is 100% safe. There's absolutely no one on their east. The only teams they have to worry about are the west and the north.
Yeah. 1, 2, I mean, you know, Snakers got a nice central position. If you keep Kickstart, keep Flood and Rello where they're in right now, they can make sure that not only if members of SG start to walk down from that compound, Snakers isn't overly vulnerable, but if Dodge continue to try and challenge that wrap, they'll be fine. And I think this is the play, right? You've got Snakers to keep an eye on what happens with Troglodytes, with LG, but keep everybody else behind where the bulk of that biggest threat comes, and that's that compound, that high ground wrap from those 2 teams in the south. But my eyes right now are on Luminosity to wonder how they can get out of this, because even if they can take care of the last 2 members of Troglodytes, it's still a little bit of a difficult rotation without making themselves vulnerable to SG, and obviously the threat of how is Dodge going to get into the zone. If Dodge continues to take that wrap around them, then that could be the biggest threat for Luminosity.
Well, SG has to be incredibly careful, because now their position has become quite precarious.
There we we go. And talking about seeing Snakers
Oh,
fighting
you
that headshot
disgusting
onto
shots,
Rusty.
and he's
Zara
gonna
gets
get
out Pulsa. A double right there for eUnited. We move forward into our top 4 teams. eUnited, only one with fully standing as Alo has been knocked for Luminosity. But not before getting that knock on Tafina. This would be the flush on Tafina, but here comes all of the utility that Hikerman had left in his back pocket as he tries to keep Luminosity from walking right up onto him. But as the circle pulled back away, it's not looking good for Dodge. Penta continuing to try to inch back into the circle. But look at this. Hikerman is not giving up.
No, and even if LG fall here, I mean, they've already had such a solid game. The consistency is just shining. That nade is going to catch Luke, which is probably going to put him out of commission. That blue ticks too hard. There's a chance.
Oh,
There's still a chance.
There we go. I mean,
They're going to
Kurt
get
Penta.
Luke.
What do you do? You could try right now, but I mean it is essentially
I
a
lied.
now or
They're not
never.
gonna
And as
get
they
Luke
say that,
grenade.
look at all this utility coming out from Synergy. They're continuing to keep that pressure. That one landing perfectly. Luke is done. Pippa getting credit for that. eUnited though still have the high ground as they've managed to wrap all around SG's compounds. And really just waiting for them to walk out the front door at this point.
Yeah, EU is literally like a snake right now. They're just slowly constricting and slowly just suffocating SG as SG is just now, I mean, this compound is their only play. Meanwhile, EU has so much control, all the control. And with that, what was it, like 39% win rate once they hit the top 4 or something ridiculous?
Oh yeah, it was huge. In fact, I mean, LG, it was only 13-something% win rate coming into this event. Once again, we're seeing them coming into the late game, but they've only won one of the 4. They've made it into the top 4 thus far. If they can win this one, that will be 5, but it's going to be really hard with only Kurt standing. Penta does get knocked down by Pippa. It's a 3v4v2 if Kurt can get that res, but I mean, they've got nothing to really work with on this ridgeline. It's not looking good for LG, but that's still great points on the board. As you see, 9 kills, a 3rd place. It's going to continue to hold that reign for them on the leaderboard.
Honestly, them dying right here, they still had an absolutely great game. I mean, they got to the top 3. They had, what, like 9 kills or something like that? They are fine. They are big, chilling. But now it's just eUnited and SG.
There we go, and now eUnited know exactly where Synergy are as they push out of the compound, try to get wide on that wrap. Stilson taking a lot of damage in terms of utility, manages still standing, 41 HP, pops that first aid kit, and hopes he can get it in time with support from Pippa, who's wrapping wide, waiting to see if he can spot out members of eUnited on the push. Pippa does, but the damage unfortunately isn't there in his favor. Flood finds not only a knock on him, but as well as Stilson from the nade. It's all up to Danit, and the rest of eUnited come in charging. Flashbangs out in full. They want to take this victory for themselves as they spot out Danit. Flood potentially getting that last knock. He does in 8 kills. eUnited take their first victory of the day.
And that, again, that was just so well played by eUnited. They knew the hand that they were dealt. It was a pretty damn good hand. They played it slow. They played on the ridge of that compound, and they just suffocated SG and shot everyone else in their direction, so they didn't even have to deal with that. And that's about as classic as an EU game as you're going to get. But also massive shout out to LG for making that push, and also SG for just getting a good amount of kills while sitting in that compound.